and Russells.
Always.
It says we're live, but I don't actually see it.
I see it.
There we go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another round. Or sorry, no. This is not another round. It has been a long week, and I had a really long day at work today. But welcome back to Bourbon Blind anyway. And we have Bryant on Bourbon from Instagram with us again today. We got some samples from a Patreon viewer. He will be in the chat. I don't know if he wants to be named, called out, so I will leave that as a mystery right now. But Bryant and I each got 4 samples labeled A, B, C, and D. So, of course, got to be blind, right? So, anyway, Bryant, you want to say what's up?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Took a. I was kind of off social media for a while. I planned to kind of give it up for Lent to just kind of refocus a little bit. And my awesome wife ended up having our son about 7 weeks early, and he needed to stay in the hospital for a little while before he was ready to come home. So just kind of bourbon stuff been on the back burner a little bit, but he's home, he's healthy. Wife's a superstar, she's doing great. So a lot to be thankful for here over on Lakewood Avenue, and been sitting on this blind since like February. You and I have been kind of going back and forth, and between your work and my work, and we both have kids, and everything else going on. It's kind of hard to nail down a time, but appreciate the patron that would very graciously send us some very nice samples that I'm anxiously to do them blind. Rethink how you drink, as one of our friends likes to say, and talk a little bourbon industry and have some pours.
Absolutely, man. And I gotta say, like, these have been sitting in my cabinet just staring at me, and I was like, man, I want to get into them, and I want to, but I was like, no, I gotta wait for Bryant, and hopefully the mystery person, he who shall not be named,
which I think I might have put it on my Instagram. I'm not sure. So
the first name's Chad. We'll go with that. How's that?
There you go. Yeah, I do know him to be a devout turkey man. So I'm very anxious to get into these.
Sweet. So, well, I say we just go ahead and start with A. Yeah.
You want to do that? Sure.
Let's do it. I actually grabbed 4 glasses just in case. Want to do a little side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's familiar.
Some spice, some caramel.
You can tell it's got a little bit of age on it. It's not over oaky, but it's matured.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not young by any means.
Mm-mm. Over 100 proof, definitely.
Yeah,
but it's not. I wouldn't say it's like a Booker's or an Elijah Craig barrel proof.
No, I was gonna say that like 110-ish area.
Yeah,
105, 110 maybe.
It's got a very familiar nose.
Good taste. Tastes really good.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot more of that caramel in there.
It's got just a, I don't even call it an astringent. There's something on the back of the palate that kind of tightens a little bit.
Yeah. On like the very back of the tongue. Jason, Mash and Drum, what's up, buddy? We got all the usual suspects in here. Bourbon Professor, what's up, man? David Schwabel, Chad Wallace, Chad Hawley. Chad Hawley said he made it just in time. Richie Z, Michael Hassett, what's up? Scott from My Bourbon Journey, like I said, Bourbon Professor. DHSILV too. He sent us some stuff before, and I have no clue. What does that even stand for? I want to know. Cooper 57. Rebecca Page is in the house. So we got all the usual suspects, man.
To the very gracious patron that sent this, thank you for your patience. I apologize for us sitting on your whiskey for better part of 3 months.
Right.
So I think this is a Russell's pick, and I don't know if I'm just saying that because I just drink an awful lot of Russells.
It does kind of have that nose on it.
It's just it's familiar. It's not familiar in a way of like I know it's high proof, but it doesn't drink high proof. It's like I don't drink Booker's or Elijah Craig barrel proof a ton. I mean, I always keep one or two of those open. But when I do have that first sip, I can tell there's a 20-point proof swing from what I normally get.
Right.
And
it doesn't taste like Jim Beam at all. So it's definitely not that Booker's ish.
And it doesn't have that kind of floral subtle notes that you get with like the Four Roses single barrels.
Four Roses.
Mm-mm.
It's not Jim Beam.
It's definitely not that. So I'm gonna say this is a very strong Russell's pick.
Hey Richie Z. Who else is in here? Hey Mash and Drum. Jason, how you doing?
That's really good. I don't have a pen and paper. You just kind of want to jot notes on what we think these are and then reveal them all at the end.
We definitely can. I'm going to keep a little bit of A in my glass and move on to
B. I'm
going to think about it and do a little A/B comparison. A/B.
We have hungry dogs. Sorry.
So,
a pen. Oh,
definitely a lot sweeter.
Yeah, way sweet.
A lot sweeter on the nose.
All right, I'm gonna take notes here real quick, Kyle.
Okay. So we're going with Russell's on number 1.
Yep, I think we're both gonna say Russell's on number 1. I don't know what this is, but it's very good, and I would like some more.
Are you on B or A?
B. The nose is better on B, but I think I like the finish on A. B kind of seems front loaded to me. It's got this really nice kind of a thick sweets. Kind of like a chewy or sticky kind of, like a Halloween candy or something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot sweeter.
But I'm just trying to go through how, like, there's enough spice there that I don't think it's a wheat or anything. It's got enough finish that I don't think this is like a Maker's Mark cask strength. I don't think it's an antique store pick or something.
What's the chance of this being a rye?
I don't think it's a rye.
I don't think it's a rye. I like it. So
it is good though. I really like it.
I tell you, the next rye that I pick up and drink and say I like will be the first rye that I pick up and drink that I like.
Really?
My favorite so far is that Kentucky Owl Batch 1 that you sampled me, and I liked it, but I
just didn't do it for you.
Not when I can drink bourbon. I mean that's just, I don't know, kind of the way I look at it, I guess.
There's definitely a couple ryes that I really enjoy, but bourbon's definitely my first love, and then rye, and then Scotch, and everything else would be way down.
I haven't had a rye. I mean, Kentucky Owl had a nice finish. Pikesville has a nice finish, but they're still fairly abrupt. They just kind of like drop off the table. I mean, and I like a longer lingering thing. So, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to try somebody's Cornerstone that Turkey's about to drop before I shell out $180 for it.
I really want one. I really do.
It's supposed to be like, I think 9 to 11 years and 109 proof, something like that.
Yeah, that's right in my wheelhouse.
Yep. and talking to a friend of mine that spends a little bit of time around Bruce. He thinks it's one of the best things, Bruce Russell Edison, that they've ever put out. So it's a lot of that's still a pretty big spend for me. So
speaking of it, Aaron just opened a new Riff bottle. It was a Nashville pick, local pick, and that's almost kind of what B reminds me of a little bit.
Of New Riff?
Like it's got that sweetness, that caramel, that just a little bit of spice on the back end.
That has spice.
You know what this kind of reminds me of, and what I think this is what I'm going to vote on.
This is a good bottle.
This is like one of those Belle Meade picks from a few years back, or the Smooth Ambler Old Scouts. This kind of reminds me of MGP in a lot of ways. That lower rye, that 75-21-4 mash bill that they have. Right. It's kind of got that sticky sweet. Like I love the nose on this so much. Like it's really good.
Just do it quick.
I like the first one better than the second. I did not like the second one.
I think I like the second one a little better. I mean, they're so different.
They're very different whiskeys. They're I wish I could put the nose on B with the finish on A. Like,
yes.
If I can make that happen, that'd be pretty good. So I'm going to vote MGP on this one, just because I don't think it's a weeder. I don't think it's a Knob Creek pick. I don't. And again, I'm saying this is 100, 120, 116, something like that.
I mean, I would go with that. I honestly have no. Oh, like I have a couple ideas of what it could be, but there's nothing that like really sticks out of my mind of, hey, you know what I mean? Like
it's not flashing.
Yeah, like I mean, it almost kind of tastes like it could be like one of the Four Roses recipes.
It's got some turkey notes too. I mean,
yeah,
I would definitely.
It's kind of, I don't want to say all over the place, but I mean, just the flavor profile is kind of big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
DH Silver says in the chat really fast that the variance between single barrels is insane with the new Riff, and I cannot agree more. But this is a really good bottle.
The last bottle we had was kind of of a store pick.
Was amazing. I drank the whole thing.
Well, the first bottle was just an off the shelf one. The first single barrel was kind of meh, and then this single barrel seems to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can tell you, because I was there early March and picked there, and one just New Riff did it. They do a really, really good job. You're in this old garage that was built in the late 1890s. It used to be like the Cincinnati streetcar, like where they would go to repair them. They've got a really, really nice room, exposed brick, old beams, nice leather chairs, oak table, water pretzels. Like, as much as I love going to rick houses to pick, like when I picked at Barton, it was 34 degrees and like,
oh wow,
cold.
That was cold.
Yeah, cold as hell. We all had hangovers that made us go to the hammer mill room. Like, and you're cool. You're picking in a rick house, and then you can't beat that. But what they don't have a rick house that's 100 years old or 80 years old. So they've said we're going to do it completely different, and we're going to set it up like a technical tasting, and they do a really nice job with that. But you can buy half and quarter barrels from them, and if you buy a half barrel, the remainder of that barrel is what ends up being the shelfy single barrel. So we picked half a barrel. We got 120 bottles out of it. And then one of the guys in our groups was in DC like 2 or 3 weeks later, and he found the other half of our barrel or some of those bottles. He's like, didn't we have barrel number, whatever the hell the barrel number was?
Right.
So even if it's a shelf thing, I mean, it's still barrels that have been in the barrel program and that they've been selected by other groups. They just might not have picked the whole barrel. So when they bottle it, you buy your 120 cases, they put your sticker, logo, or engrave it or whatever. And then the remainder of those bottles, they just put into their general thing. So I say all that to say, good job, New Riff. And I think a couple, 3, 4 more years, they're going to have some very, very impressive bourbon. It's very good now, but I think it's only going to get better.
only get better.
Yep.
Yep.
So speaking of single barrel, I just poured C real quick.
Okay.
But speaking of single barrel programs, I have heard that the Whistle Pig program is freaking phenomenal.
I've heard that as well. Just seeing pictures of people going up when they go up to Vermont and do all that.
I heard basically like all you need to do is get a plane ticket there, and like they'll pick you up from the airport. They give you a place to stay. They feed you while you're there. They have everything catered, like huge bonfire parties.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a 2 or 3 day event. Like it's supposed to be
pretty primo.
Amazing.
Nice. I'll have to look into that. Might have to learn to like rye. I
really like the nose on C.
Yeah, this is my favorite so far, just going on the nose.
Yep, I'll go with that. You see how tired I am? Got these like bags under my eyes. But
this is turkey.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't know what this is. This is a really good Russell's Pig.
Ooh, whatever it is really good.
I don't know which one it is, but
cherry bomb.
Tons of caramel and cherry.
It's really sweet on the nose.
Total cherry bomb.
It kind of has that I'm the turkey dork, obviously, but the Jimmy profile and the Eddie profile, and when Eddie first started working there, he said, I thought my name was No for 10 years, and if you really kind of look at it, like Jimmy likes that big spicy right up front, big, loud, and just that finish that goes on, for forever and a day. Eddie likes it a little bit sweeter, a little bit creamier on the palate, and a little bit of a shorter finish. If this isn't a good Russell's barrel, then I don't know what I'm talking about, which is very much likely. So this is probably like an antique pick or something. I don't know.
So one thing I've noticed, I don't know what it is, like
real good.
You talk with like tasting bourbon blind, right? Sometimes you'd be like, "Oh, dude, this is this has to be this," and like you end up not even having the right distillery, like maybe not even the right state.
Oh,
and, people that do like wine and stuff, they're like, "Oh, this is a 97 Chateau whatever," from this side of their winery, and it's like, dude, come on. And then they reveal it, and it was. And, but
I think bourbon's harder. I don't know why.
I think it's probably the proof.
I think the proof makes a big difference, and I think the fact that the barrels are charred and then they're in the barrels for much longer. So I know with some wines, they toast the barrel, but they don't char the barrel, and they're in it for a year, 14 months, 10 months, something like that. You're talking about 7-8 years, 5th or 6th floor, 10, 11 years in a rick house. If we're being
honest, like a lot of the mash bills are really close.
Oh yeah, Turkey Beam, Turkey Beam, and Heaven Hill are all within a handful of points of each other.
Right,
they really are. It's all 75, 13, 12, 75, 15, 10. There's really not a ton.
And I think a lot of it, comes down to like the yeast that they use.
Well, all you got to do is look at all
kind
the
of the
roses on that. Just look at a B mash and a OBSV and an OBSK, which I heard OBSK is finally back in the rotation.
Thank you, because that's probably that and OESO are probably my two favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
EV and EK have just been my Four Roses jam lately. And part of that's because a bunch of them showed up here in South Carolina, so I've got a couple four open.
Right. No, I will say the V yeast is always just, which is probably why they use it for their regular single barrel. But I mean, it's always just
consistent,
well-rounded, balanced. Yep. Just I mean, like it's always consistent. Good.
That's what I've heard. That's why they picked OBSV for single barrel, because they thought that it was the most consistent Obviously, single barrels you're going to have variants, but they thought that kept it between the white and the yellow, if you will.
Right.
between the ditches of what they wanted OBSV to be.
What number is this?
C. So I'm going to say I don't know what C is, but I think it's my favorite so far.
I would agree with that.
It really kind of has this Four Roses-esque to me.
You think so?
I mean, maybe it's just because that's what we were talking about, but
I don't think it's Four Roses.
I don't know. I said I don't know what it is, but
it's kind of funny doing these blinds. Sometimes it's kind of like dating. You got to figure out what it's not before what
That's
it is.
what I do. I can tell you what it's not. I can't do what it is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm pretty sure we haven't had any Knob Creek picks. Like,
no, I don't think so.
I don't think we've had anything on a Jim Beam.
None of them have been over oaked or I get a really dry note. Even on like the 9-year, 10-year single Knob Creek single barrels, I still kind of get this dry note.
I don't think there's been any Buffalo Trace either.
I don't think we've had any.
C might be the closest thing to a Buffalo Trace, but I don't think it is.
Maybe. And B was really sweet on the nose, and it had this cherry aspect that I kind of generally get that with Rock Hill Farms. Now it's been a skinny minute since I've had an open Rock Hill Farms, but
right.
Brandy.
And I get cherries a lot with Stag Junior, but none of these have been over 120 proof. I don't think these are all over 100, but none of these are
less than 120.
None of these are big.
Right. Yeah, I think they're all in that like
proof.
105 to 112 ish range. I would say.
Which is again, that kind of if you look at all your information, and you look at proof as a guidepost, that's going to kind of point you to roses, point you to turkey, point you to MGP. Unless it's an antique pick, but I could be wrong, man. We could have 4 glasses of 4 different, antique picks. But yeah, maybe, I don't know.
I'm saying so far C is my favorite. I think before we reveal them, we should do the bourbon blind thing and give them a price.
Yeah, I'll absolutely give them a price on that. C to me is the best. It's the best parts of A and B put together.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's got the nose of B, but it's a better nose, and it's got the mouthfeel and finish of A, but I think it's a little bit better mouthfeel and finish. So
I really like C. I like C a lot. Have a glass.
Yep.
So, I have one. I have my Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Okay.
Glasses.
I'm going to go to the side pour real quick to refresh my palate.
Yep.
So what's your side pour tonight, Kyle?
I grabbed a Russell's. I grabbed a Chattanooga cask strength and the Four Roses small batch select.
Nice. Don't sleep on that Chattanooga cask strength, guys. That's good stuff, and it's like $38 in my market. It's 6-ish MGP stuff, so pretty solid. Yeah,
dude, have you had any of their experimental series? Do you guys get them over there?
We do not. And again, I guess I'm kind of boring. Like the experimental cask stuff, the finished stuff, isn't really my thing. Like even Revival, like I know our mutual friend DJ over at Rare Bird, one of my best bourbon buds, and he loved Revival. I think he gave it a 5 out of 5. He couldn't say enough good things about it.
Right.
And I liked it, but it's just the finished thing is not my.
It's not your jam.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
My jam.
You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. So
so it's just and again they're fairly pricey. I know the one that are most readily available to us are the Bell Mead finished stuff. But they're I think $80.
Yeah, they're in that like $70-$80 price range.
And again, this is Bourbon Blind, so how much are you willing to pay for this? And I was texting a friend of mine today, and I can't remember what bottle we were talking about, and he's like, and I can get a Russell's for that. And all my my local guys laugh at me because they're like, "Did you try this?" I'm like, "It's either this or buy Russell's." So I bought another Russell's. Or,
kind of your standard like comparison.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's
where
like
the bar is set.
This is how much money I've, if I'm going to spend on this, and it's like I can go buy this, or it's like or a friend of mine's like, "Hey, I'm in Tennessee, or I'm here, and they've got this warehouse D pick. You want it?" Well, yeah.
Right.
So
I don't like D. That aftertaste did something. Oh my god.
The nose on D is amazing.
The taste on it sucks.
The taste on it is.
It sucks. That aftertaste. Oh my god.
It's different.
I sound like you. You're whooping.
I told you. The nose on D is amazing. Have you tasted it yet?
I'm just nosing now.
The nose is good.
This is, I would say just based on the nose, this is older than anything we've tasted. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
It's got a little bit more maturity to it. I'm getting more oak than I've gotten on any of these previous picks.
David, it's really interesting.
Yeah, I can definitely see that on the nose, but give it a little sip. Well,
it's good. I get an astringent note on the finish.
Yep.
It really reminds me of like a Willet product. They have that weird finish.
Now, Willet is a rabbit hole that I have not gone down because I cannot afford it.
The standard on the shelf stuff, not the family estate fancy bottle stuff.
Yeah, I know all that family estate stuff. Like I just see peripherally what people spend on it or what they are on secondary, and I
oh god,
I just want to see what I'm tasting.
Oh god,
the fat bottom girls bottom
right.
takes up way too much real estate for what it is.
Bunker.
I need a roadmap.
Second shelf, right hand side.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Roadmap.
How's that for a roadmap?
So this is a very complex bourbon.
The nose on that is amazing.
The nose.
Not wet dog.
Good Phil.
Like it is. This is something different. This is not.
No, I told you it wasn't wet dog.
It still has that Willet weird finish on it that I just can't place.
Chad, he really does. Kyle has every bottle memorized, and I spend hours some nights looking for a stupid bottle.
Get a copy of the roadmap, David.
I don't know. There are parts of this that are familiar to me, and parts of it that make me lean with you that maybe this is kind of one of those one-off, really matured. After about 12 years, I don't. There's not many older than 12-year bourbons that I've had that I have liked. And you and I have talked about this, and you made a super video about it that I know Turkey put out. Like I'm not a pappy guy. Like it's not something
right.
I chased. It's not something I try and buy a secondary. Like if I back into one, I buy it. I think it's good whiskey. I enjoy it. But I'm not like it's not my holy grail of bourbon. The Pappy 15 I think is really, really, really good whiskey, and that is probably the oldest bourbon that I've had that I've liked. Even Elijah Craig 18 is too oaky for me. A friend of mine has a bottle of like the Jeffersons from way back when, like the presidential, that's a 24 year, and it's like a sawdust. Like it's just oaky, and it's way more oak than I like. 7 to 11 years, 8 to 12 years, like, and I'm done. Like that's kind of my window.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely got that drying aspect on the finish.
There's an astringent and a drying note that suggests to me that this is an older.
It tastes dusty.
I mean, 14, 15 years. I don't know if it's a dusty note so much.
Dusty and a really hard oak.
Because it's got this kind of spice mid palate that reminds me of some of the turkey Camp Nelson picks, like the rare bird 1 in a century pick. But I don't know what it is. It's good. I like it. Like, I can tell that it's I don't know. There's something different about it. You can tell that it is a matured, layered, complex bourbon.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
But there's something on the finish that I'm not
a fan of.
Not super crazy about. But I'd still enjoy the pour. I think the positives outweigh that negative on the finish, but there's that one kind of little skip of the record right there at the end.
I was going to try and type this out, but Chad said EHT barrel proof or Elijah Craig barrel proof.
Ooh.
It's not. I'm not getting the proof on it though. You know what I mean?
Right.
See, I like both of those though.
I mean, just in general, I would go for probably the EHT for complexity. Elijah Craig has way more flavor, but as far as this goes,
it is neither.
I've had E.H. Taylor barrel proof on 2 occasions. I've got a sample of it. A friend of mine's got a bottle that I've had a couple pours out of. It's not one that I have a bottle of that I'm really, really familiar with. Elijah Craig barrel proof, I always have 1 or 2 of the batches open. I don't get every single release and stockpile them like some people do, but like B517 was really good. C917 I thought was better. I think I've got A119 open right now. So I like Elijah Craig barrel proof.
That 119 is really good.
I always make sure that I've got one open, but it's not. I don't know that line like I know turkey and like I know Four Roses. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So
I'm going to guess D is Willet.
Yeah,
that would describe a lot. That says a lot because I can't stand Willet.
It's kind of that.
Nasty.
I'm on board with you. I mean, I think this is like a 17-year, 120, 118, because it's not hot.
It is high.
Like,
so let me ask you this:
it's not low.
Going with the whole bourbon blind theme, how much would you be willing to pay for a bottle of D if you had to buy it secondary?
If I had to buy it secondary, I'd look for C.
Yes.
No. Like, I mean, I would say that D. Before we went on air, Kyle and I were talking about. Kyle and I work. We've got kids. Daycare. We can't just spend as much money as we'd like on bourbon, and that's one of the things that initially drew me to your channel and drew me to your show. Like, however many months ago, a year, whatever. Dave was like, "Hey, check out this review they did on 101." And I watched it. And you had a lot of good things to say about it. And you say I'd spend this or that. Like, one of the things that I really like about what you do, and I'm glad that I get to kind of help support it, is, you're looking past the label and you're looking past the secondary stuff, and you're like, what's in the glass and how much am I willing to pull out of my wallet to put this on the front seat of the truck and drive home with it?
Because that's really what it comes down to.
Or how much is your wife not going to kill you for spending that much?
Yeah, I have to be able to justify whatever is in here. I have to be able to justify spending that.
Correct. And I think all of us have had stuff where you bought it and you're disappointed with it before you even get home and pull in the driveway. You're like, did I really just spend this much money on this? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But like,
there. Yeah, I've done it.
I mean, honestly, bottle of Russell's, it's $65 out the door at my local, and that's, getting I could get a babysitter and Sarah and I could go out to eat or, grab drinks at happy hour and then, come home or whatever, so that in real world money, like that's kind of what I think the point of your show is like, well, money talks and bullshit walks, right? At the end of the day, like separating the wheat from the chaff and all this hype. I say all that to say, I think D is it is easily an over $100 bottle. Like,
how much would you be willing to pay for it though, to drink it?
Would I be willing to pay to drink it? No, I don't know. No, I mean, I'd give $100-$150 for it. Maybe. You can tell it's something different. Like, I don't.
Yes.
I can't tell you exactly what it is. It's not a store pick, and you know what I mean. Like, there's more complexity to it that I think that you get with really well put together batched products that you don't really kind of get with single barrels. I think it's definitely over 15 years old, and I think it's probably a cask strength product. So all of those things are going to add up to maybe you're going to pay a little more for there's going to be other bottles that you get a better bang for your buck on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can still tell that this is a well-matured, complex bourbon. That said, I'm going to find C. I don't know what C is. I'm going to open up this here envelope. I'm going to find out what C is, and I'm going to get some.
Go buy a bottle.
I'm going to go buy whatever it is.
How would you rank them in order?
All right. So if I had to rank them, so I'm going to say D is some sort of off the wall Willet or something that it's somewhat familiar to me, but it doesn't grab me in any particular way. I mean, I get. I mentioned kind of DJ over at Rare Bird and a couple other buddies, Austin and Ryan, we call it the Camp Nelson prickle. Like there's something mid palate there that's got a really heavy spice, but it's not like any turkey that I've ever had. So I'm going to say it's some Willet or some single cask nation, or it's a different bird that I haven't had before. If I had to rank these, I would say C is a clear cut. Then I would go D, and then I'd have to go back and forth between. I think I liked the nose on B was really, really good. So I would go C, D, B, A if I had to rank these.
I'd probably go C, B, A, D.
C, B, A, D for you. All right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And going back through this, I've got A as a Russell's, B as an MGP, C as a Russell's, and D as some Willet off the wall, something special. I don't know what. You thinking like a Willet or some special?
Yeah, I think C really might be a Four Roses.
Okay.
B, I am not sure about. A, I'd probably go with some sort of Russell's with that.
Okay. All right.
And D is
so
throw it away.
Our last live stream went 3.5 hours.
We can't do that because I've
got
to.
No, we definitely can't.
Sorry, y'all.
And then people started sending super chats, which ended up making me chug what was ever in the glass.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
You made me drink a lot of Bookers that night. That was not very nice. I really like my Bookers.
We definitely cannot do that tonight.
Booker's 30th still hits. I had some the other night, and it's we did a couple streams ago. We did this, and it was still good. I still really like it.
So,
you ready for this?
We have this.
Open after tasting. Hey, full integrity here. We're just guys that like to drink bourbon, man. We're not trying to scheme anybody here, so you can see us opening the envelopes.
Right. So,
key.
Piece of paper.
Oh, it's got a key written on it. Yep.
So, A, Wild Turkey 13 Distiller's Reserve.
Nice. At least got the distillery.
That is freaking awesome.
Interesting. Okay, I don't even know what that is. Like, and I'm the turkey guy, but like some of these so that's the 13-year 91 proof. That kind of makes sense.
So, B, Russell's Reserve Single Barrel,
sweetest soda pop Warehouse G. I like some Warehouse G stuff, and I'd say the sweetest soda pop's right on the money on that. right? I mean, it had that super sweet nose.
I didn't try that one.
So it's
So
just
you were right. These are all Russells.
the first one, I believe, is only released in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Chad just said.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think I had 2 down as an MGP. So, but 3 is another Russell's Reserve Single Barrel Hops to Go Warehouse Delicious. Now,
Yep.
Lexington Bourbon Society also had a Delicious. So if anybody's got a line on this Hops to Go,
That is freaking amazing.
y'all need to get on Bryant on Bourbon. I'll trade you something. I don't know. We'll get with me.
Yeah, the 13-year Distiller's Reserve is only in Japan. So
is that the 91 proof? Anybody in chat? Is that the 13-year 91 proof turkey?
DJ just showed up. Rarebird 101. So,
he's the expert.
DJ, what is the proof on the Wild Turkey 13-year? How do we get out of focus?
Cheers, my bourbon amigo.
There you go. No, we're not.
So Lexington Bourbon Society Hops to Go teamed up for it. So same pick.
So you know what's
It
crazy?
is 91 proof. Wow.
That's it.
That's got a ton of flavor for a 91 proof.
So you know what's crazy is on DJ's Patreon, somebody sent me a blind with this delicious pick in it, and I rated it that at that time like a 3.6, and I thought it was Kentucky Spirit. So clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. So
what did you eat that day is the question on that one.
Yeah, probably a spicy Chick-fil-A sandwich. I don't know.
So is everyone ready for letter D?
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Absolutely. I can't remember the specs on that. I do know it.
I had never had it before. So
I've got a bottle, but it's not open, and that's the first time I've had it. If DJ's still in chat, that's all Camp Nelson, right, DJ?
Yeah, Rarebird 101 will probably reply. Russell's Reserve 2002. I am going to have to go back and revisit that. Oak Bomb, yep. All Camp Nelson.
All Camp Nelson, okay. And what's the proof on it?
He has not said yet. 15-year, 114 proof, Camp Nelson.
All right, so we were dancing all around it.
So, man, that is super generous of you, Chad.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make up a little sample box for Chad.
I mean, that Hops to Go is probably the best Russell's Reserve pick I've had.
It's so crazy.
Recent memory. I mean,
it's so crazy because when I first reviewed it, it didn't. But I got sent 6 samples, and I did it over, I think, 3 nights. Or this was like when we were half in a hotel, half here, like. And I just broke them off in pairs. And in the same night that I had that delicious, the other pick that I drank was the Single Cask Nation guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they had released a 10-year Russell or Wild Turkey Rickhouse K. And the thing is, they are able to release them at cask strength and non-chill filtered, which even Turkey doesn't do right now, which hopefully Campari will let them do soon, fingers crossed. And it was just phenomenal. Like, it's one of the best pours I've ever had. And I had this pour beside it. So one, that K pig that the Single Cask Nation guys did was just an absolute titan. But yeah, this Hops to Go delicious. I might have to get on secondary. And I'm not.
Chad said he's
guy.
on it's the best pick he's had by far, and he's on his second and last bottle.
This is really good.
Dude, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
This is a hell of a lineup, man.
Yeah, very, very gracious of you to send these. And y'all, he sent 2-ounce pours. Like, he didn't send the little ones. He sent the.
Oh yeah, they're
real nice.
On 2-ounce
Boston rounds.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's freaking awesome.
So I guess the takeaway in all this is limited edition stuff is great, and you can tell it's different. Generally, you can tell that it's a different caliber of whiskey. That said, it's really hard to beat if you got $65 in your pocket finding a good store pick. And the thing is, you're going to buy some and it's going to be okay, not great. You're just going to like it, and you're going to end up making old fashions with it or putting it over a bunch of ice and walking the dog with it, which is what I do with bottles that I'm not crazy about. But when you find one that you really, really like and it hits all the right notes and it works for you, take that money that you were saving up to, get in a lottery or, buy a big unicorn bottle and go get you a couple, 3, 4 bottles.
Send your kids to college with. I mean, just do it.
Absolutely.
I don't need to go to college.
So college is overrated anyway, man.
So the 13-year Distiller's Reserve, I'm gonna have to revisit this. It's got a lighter color. It's got painter's tape on it, but like especially comparing it to
I think it's darker than B for me. Not as dark as C.
It drinks more than its 91 proof.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's got a ton of flavor in it.
If you put 10 more proof points on this thing and it'd be a modern version of 12101, we'd be in business. Why can't Campari doesn't do that? I don't know. I love Wild Turkey so much, and it's just like, just get out of your way, guys, and let Eddie do whatever he wants.
So maybe them watering down the 13-year kind of hides a little of that oakiness to it.
Because the finish does kind of disappear. And I was pretty convinced that this was above 100 proof bourbon based on the complexity I got on my palate. But, the finish kind of petering out makes sense at the 91 proof point.
Ooh, Chad just dropped a little info bomb. He said the box says that they barreled it at a lower proof, but he doesn't know how low. DJ, what's up? Insider info. Come on now.
Well, if it's 13-year, depending on when it was bottled, it'd be 107 because they were at 107 to 2004. They went to 110, and they went from 107 to 110 in 2004, and then in 2006, I think they went from 110 to 115. Because what Eddie found was Rare Breed was just soaking up so much of their higher proof occupancy. That's the thing, Turkey goes in, their flagship that they move the most of is 101. And if you go in the barrel at 107, that means that you're going to have, just by law of how bourbon works, you're going to have a whole bunch of sub 101 barrels that are going to take higher proof to get you over the line, to get you over that hump for 101 when you do the 1,500 barrel dump or whatever it is. And then you've got this other line extension, Rare Breed, that's sucking off, a lot of your higher proof barrels. So that's why they went from 110 and then again to 115. So that's why it is. Why everybody's like, why Turkey go from 107? It's like, well, you're buying too much Rare Breed.
Right.
which I mean, really good.
I wish they would have kept it at 107, but I mean, I totally get it. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, 115 is way better than the 125 by far.
I would agree with that. And 115 really fits for the Russells and, for the single barrels that, we like so much. And I've heard, Eddie's told me, people that, pick more at Turkey than I do, that Russell's Reserve cask strength is coming. It is going to be a thing. It's not going to be 2019, unfortunately. But it would be cool if they did a few runs every now and again of the old 107, to batch specifically for 101. Because that's going back to the dusty turkey that everybody's so nuts about and it's so good. Everything was 107. And Eddie said, in the 80s and early 90s, the stuff that's so sought after, a 1,500 barrel dump would be 104 and 105 proof. So it took not a whole lot. So, I mean, you were getting,
close to barrel proof whiskey for not a whole lot of money. And
1989 Wild Turkey 101 is 104, 105 when it's dumped. So you're getting pretty damn close to cask strength on that, which I think is one of the reasons that it still stands the test of time and is as good as it is. It's expensive now too, unfortunately.
Right. Dude, that was super freaking awesome of you, Chad.
Yes. I've got to get his return address and send him a little goodie box for this. This This 2002 is a treat because I've actually, and I'm Mr. like get good stuff and open it and share it with your friends. Like I was lucky enough to get a 2002. I was even luckier to go to a bottle share not long after that with Eddie. I got him to sign it, but it's still sitting in the box and I haven't opened it up yet. I'm just hanging on to it to something special. But you can tell that this is a horse of a different color. I still think it's a shade. It's a shade oaky for what I like. There's a dry. There's something on the palate that's just off for what I prefer to drink. But you can tell that it's a damn fine bottle.
Yeah, it's super complex. I'm gonna have to revisit it and see. Knowing the age and the proof on it, you know what I mean, and sit down with it for a few minutes. But
this isn't one to rush. I mean, I would say that if I were to have this, I would pour a nice 1.5 to 2 ounce pour, and it would take me the better part of an evening to enjoy it.
I would say I'd really like to see what it does with like 20 to 30 minutes of opening up.
Yeah.
So I just poured another Russell's Reserve pick just for comparison from Single Barrel Project.
Is that M pick that we've talked about?
Yeah, Warehouse M 16500.
Which is actually interesting.
Barrel, didn't you?
I've got an M 499, so they were right behind it, and it was a very nice pick. And everybody in Columbia, this was at a local independent bottle shop that when they don't bring in a ton of barrels all the time. When they do, they're generally very good and well thought of. Jimmy and Eddie were there 2 years ago, and they signed a bunch of these bottles, and they were $49.99, and they just sat and sat and sat and sat and sat. And I bought probably close to 2 cases of it because I mean I'd trade it. Hey man, you got this Russell? You want to trade? Yeah, okay. It's a really, really quality pour, but one of my many rants is people rolling, hey man, you got any blends, you got any Rocco Farms, you got any Weller? And they turn around and walk out. Those same guys are now buying Henry McKenna 10 because Fred Minnick said it was really good, and now people that like to drink McKenna 10, they can't find it. And not that I'm a huge McKenna 10 fan, but I like to keep one open, like to have one.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's something that's nice to find on the shelf and not have to.
You know what you're getting. It's 10 years old. It's 100 proof. It was one of those like standby pours, right? Like if I'm having to go out of town or this and that, and I've got to go bring a bottle to a party, or like if I see it, I can buy it. I'm out the store for less than $40, and I know I'm going to get. It might not be super. It might not be great. Some are going to be better than others. That's the nature of single barrels, but you knew you were going to get at least a quality bottle at a fair price. And
it was something you could rely on that the not whiskey geeks aren't really going to know what it is. And
yep. It was a little bit of a inside baseball pour, a little bit.
They can do whatever they wanted with it, and you wouldn't feel bad. And
just absolutely.
Not
so
even
you take
think about
it. Your brother-in-law wants to mix it with ginger ale or Pepsi or whatever. Like, fine, knock yourself out, drink it however you want to drink it. But the same guys that walked into all these stores, looking for all the Buffalo Trace stuff, that ignored McKenna for months or years, now they're the same guys that are in there clearing the shelf of McKenna 10. And it's just like stuff like that pisses me off. Like, and I'm the biggest drink your bourbon how you want to drink it. There's no right or wrong. You're drinking it for you. You're not drinking it for me. So knock yourself out. But like, don't ignore something for 2 years and then all of a sudden decide you have to buy every bottle you find. Like,
Yeah, you see those posts on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and they're like, look what I just found. And they have like a case of Henry McKenna, and you're like, dude, you really didn't have to do that. Like, you could have bought 1 or 2 bottles and been just fine, I promise. Like,
yeah,
you're not.
Doesn't make sense, man. What can you do? You want to hit on this the 4 Roses small batch and Bakers before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, let's do it. So there's the new, well, semi-new. Well, probably still new to a lot of people.
Yep.
Four Roses Small Batch Select, which I can't wait until it has national distribution.
It's just over the state line for y'all, right? Dip down to Georgia and pick it up.
Yeah, but we're right on the Alabama state line where we are.
Oh,
so,
okay.
It's right about 2 hours to Bowling Green, I think. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's just as easy for you to get to Kentucky as it is Tennessee. I like it. When I got a bottle, and I reviewed it, the local group that I'm with here in Columbia, South Carolina, the Columbia Bourbon Collective, which is just a good, solid collection of guys and gals that all enjoy sharing bourbon, respect the people that make it, and sharing good bottles. When I first got it, I liked it up until the finish. I thought the finish kind of petered out. And I got this kind of back of my palate thing that I think it might be the 6-year juice in it. I'm not sure. But since I've gotten it less than a month ago, I've gone through about a little more than half a bottle. So I like it. My only kind of rub on it is it's going to be $59 or $60, which again, I can get a Russell's for that, or I can still sometimes find Four Roses single barrels for that. But evaluating it in a vacuum, right? Like comparing Four Roses Small Batch Select to a 11-year gold neckband OBSK that's 114 proof, you're going to like that more, right?
Yeah. There's no comparison for that.
There's no comparison for that. But this offering is not meant to compete with that. I think this offering is meant to bridge you to that, right? So it's like
I would say that this is obviously better than the yellow label, hands down, no question.
Yep.
Definitely better than the regular small batch.
Correct. I would agree with that.
I would say better than most of the single barrels on the shelf.
I haven't done a side by side yet. That's kind of on my list to do because again, we're bourbon blind. So how much does it cost? If I can get the single barrel for 35, 37, and this is 59, it might be better, but is it $22 better? Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I will say this. Every time I've had it, I've had more than one pour because I think it's really good. And on the nights that I'm like, I want to drink Four Roses tonight, I'll have it as my first pour to kind of guide me to what recipe I want to go to. And that's kind of on the bourbon nerd end of things, understanding not everybody's got, a cabinet full of lovelies, as you call them, I believe. It's good. I like it. And if you're like, I've never had Four Roses before and I like good quality bourbon, you could vouch for this bottle and be confident that people will enjoy it.
I mean, one of the things I really wish it was around the $50 price mark, with yellow label small batch single barrel being 20, 30, 40.
I think everything is $10 too high.
But
yeah, absolutely. If this was $49, it would be a lot easier to buy on a consistent basis than it would at $59.
I have seen it on sale in Kentucky for $49.
Really? So yeah, I mean, I think, and I think we were talking off air and we mentioned this earlier, over $50 and over $100, those are kind of big, not obstacles, but like,
it is in your mind though. Yeah.
Yeah. But in your mind, if you're paying more than $50 for a bourbon, like it better damn deliver. You know what I mean? Or if you're paying more than $100, like you better know what you're getting. So it is 59, it's a shade high. Like I said, I really would have liked to see it around the $50 price mark.
Yeah. I mean, one thing though, I will say is it's decently complex for something you get on the shelf, and you are going to get a consistent quality out of it.
Yep.
So, maybe that cost a little bit of a premium. I mean, I don't think it should, but
that and one thing I think it's important to think of going forward. Like, we know you and I both love Four Roses. We know that for a long time they contract distilled for Bullet. They have doubled their capacity, so they've got another still. They've got more fermenters and all this, and they're pumping out bourbon as fast as they can do it. But it ain't a make it today, sell it tomorrow thing. So their stocks are stretched really, really tight right now. Would I like this to be more 7 to 8 year old than I would 6 to 7 year old? Yeah. And that kind of, I think Zeke Baker called it a pucker towards the back of the palate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be some of that 6-year juice showing up, And again, when you're kind of used to drinking 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old Four Roses single barrels, when you're cutting that age in half, it's going to have a little bit of a different flavor profile. That said, cheers to them for putting out a product that's going to be eventually national distribution. It's going to be a flagship offering. It's not going to be a once or twice a year. Like this is going to, in theory, it should be available to you if with a little bit of looking. It's a little higher than we want to pay, but it's still moderate to fairly priced.
So one thing I was going to say about the price is with the way the bourbon world is going right now, right? Things are definitely getting more expensive.
Yep.
So for them to offer something that tastes good, what I mean? It's not mind blowing, but it is really good. I would say
it's got to be that before it's anything else.
Right. So for them to offer that at 104 proof, it's NCF.
Yep.
And it's readily available on the shelf, or will be, for $60, on sale for $50, $55. I mean,
there's a hell of a lot more bottles out there that are that price point that don't measure up or hold a candle to that. Right.
Or, people charging, $100, $120 for some 3 and 4 year old product that is 90 or 95 proof. And it's like,
correct. If you've got $65 to spend on a bottle, you can do a hell of a lot worse than Four Roses Small Batch Select.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Might you find a better bottle if you come on a good Russell store pick or a good Four Roses store pick or, a good Knob Creek or Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is about 65 in my market. So would I rather have a really strong Elijah Craig Barrel Proof batch or the Four Roses? I'm probably going to swing Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, depending on my mood. But I really like Four Roses more than I like.
On Elijah paper, Elijah Craig is the clear winner. It's 130 proof, 12 year for about the same price.
But like if you're going to go out of town for a weekend and you can't bring any of your bunker with you and you just like you're here for the weekend for a wedding or this and that, and you go into a liquor store and it's like, okay, I can buy one bottle to get me through a weekend and I'm going to enjoy drinking it straight. My friend over here that's getting into it, he's going to like it on the rocks, and these guys over here, well, they want to mix it with ginger ale. That's fine. Like it's a good Swiss Army knife bourbon, I would say. Dave Jennings says that, Wild Turkey 101 is the ultimate Swiss Army knife because you can really do a lot of things with it. I would say that's an apt description of the new Small Batch Select.
I would definitely say Dave's not wrong about the one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's been my side pour all night. Like so always have 101 available.
Aaron and I went on a cruise last year, and I smuggled a bottle of bourbon in that oddly looked like a bottle of wine because you can bring wine on a cruise ship. Yeah, really weird, right? It said wine on the front and everything, but
that gives me an idea.
What am I going to bring? And I ended up bringing the 1792 full proof.
Interesting.
Because it's
really
like $40 or $45, right?
Okay.
And it's 125 proof.
It is that.
And it was something that, if they confiscated the bottle or something, I'm not going to feel too upset about it.
Well, okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
At 125 proof, and you only get one bottle is all I could smuggle on.
Yeah.
So the more proof for your
you get a little bang for your buck.
Right.
So I've got to send you not to talk about the group, but my local group. We went to Barton and we picked a 1792 pick, and it just hit this week. And it's solid. It's when we drank it in the Rick House, everybody really really liked it. It doesn't drink 125 at all. Like I was fully prepared for like a singe on the end, and there's no singe. It's 7 years 4 months. And it's subtly sweet, subtly spicy. It doesn't hit you hard either way. I'm pretty pleased with the pick because it's kind of off profile, but it's solid. So and Barton's a distillery that I generally just don't drink a lot of or buy a lot of, but they treated us nice up there. Had a really good experience and look forward to more picks.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, we're right at or just over that 1 hour mark.
Yeah.
I know I got work in the morning.
Unfortunately.
I know we both have kids.
I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to drink the rest of C or savor it for something else. The palate's got a little miles on it tonight already.
So I'm going to I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go through these backwards.
All right, and put money on them.
No, I just mean like in a couple days or something. Let the palate reset and just kind of go back through things. Because I enjoyed that. That was amazing.
So how much would you pay for C? For the delicious pick?
I'd probably be in that $100 to $140 mark. I mean, it is freaking delicious.
I'd give you over $100 for this. Like it's good. I think I like it more than D, even though I know D has more going on than C. Does that make sense?
It does. Chad said that he actually wasn't a huge fan of the 2002. That huge leathery piece on the finish. He said it almost tasted like meaty, kind of.
It has got an astringent note from here to high yonder.
It is a lot of oak.
Yep, it's a lot of oak. So, but it's good, man. So Kyle, cheers to you. Appreciate you being patient with me, Chad. Thank you very much. These are extremely generous samples to pour and send out, and most certainly I'll return the favor.
Absolutely, Chad. I can't thank you enough. I noticed one thing Chad said that he hasn't had yet, so I'm gonna have to send some his way.
Yeah, hit me up with that after this. I want to take care of him.
I will.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Kyle. Always
yes, sir.
Great, and everybody that joined us. Thank you much.
Good night, Bryant. All right, and well, we're not live, but
still says live.